Hi guys, this is Jonathan's Media Shack here again. Today, normally I would use the text-to-speech voice, David, whenever I do reviews/rants, but today, I'm gonna use my actual real-life voice, just for today. Today, it will be a review/rant on, yes, the Loud House episode called Tricked. Yep. That is for today's rant episode. Video that I'll be reviewing today. So anyways, enjoy. Oh, and by the way, if you like the show The Loud House, and if you like this episode, well, good for you. I'm glad that you like it. And you can enjoy the show and the episode as much as you want. So, yeah, enjoy. So basically, what the plot's about, it was Halloween Day, and the siblings are under Lucy's guidance to help prep up for the big day, because she finally gets the chance to set up her haunted corn maze. With everything set up, Lincoln gets a call from Clyde, saying to meet him at a rendezvous point in 15 minutes. Later, Lincoln, going incognito mode, meets up with Clyde, and Lincoln then explains to the viewers that he and Clyde had successfully located a place called Huntington Manor, where the people who live there get out full-size candy bars instead of tiny bite-sized ones. Just when the two begin to figure out how to sneak in without getting caught, two boys who look strikingly familiar, or similar I should say, to Lincoln and Clyde, respectively named Alistair and Nigel, walk out and they leave, realizing that they can pose as the two. Lincoln and Clyde try to sneak away, but they accidentally bump into Hank and Hawk. Clyde is scared of their hulking appearances and suffers a massive nosebleed, making the big kids nauseous. When Clyde stops his nosebleed, the big kids ask the boys where they can score the most candy, and Lincoln, not wanting to tell him about the full-size candies in Huntington Manor, instead tells them Franklin Avenue. Falling for the trick, they leave. And when the sundown comes near, the younger sister shows off their costumes. Lana and Lola want to try to get maximum candy, so they decided to wear 3 costumes at once. One as Abraham Lincoln, and one is the Statue of Liberty, a pepper and salt shaker, and a mermaid and a pirate. Yeah, those are the costumes that they picked out. And Lisa decides to go as a kangaroo, so she can have Lily as the Joey, resulting in maximum cuteness. Lincoln and Clyde arrive, dressed up as Alistair and Nigel. Instead of Ace Savvy and One-Eyed Jack, Lincoln and Clyde fib that they're Ace Savvy and One-Eyed Jack in disguise. So Lana and Lola and Lisa drags as a spineless Lincer out of the house. And since he's supposed to guide them after exiting the house, the younger sister and Lindsire head off into one direction while Lincoln and Clyde head the other direction. Moments later, Hank and Hawk arrive, donning baby masks. And at the same time, Lucy orders her family to get into position in the maze. Lincoln and Clyde arrived to Huntington Manor and successfully managed to trick Wyatt, the gatekeeper, into letting them in. And once they were in, they strip off their disguises and begin trick-or-treating. Meanwhile, the younger sisters begin trick-or-treating, and at one house, Lana and Lola manage to get 6 pieces of candy by using their alternative costumes. Lisa and Lily managed to get over 70 pieces of candy with their kangaroo and Joey costume. Sometimes later, Lincoln and Clyde, with their sacks full of full-size candy bars. They begin to head home, but they need to figure out where to put it. They decide to bury it. Okay, that's not right. Because if you bury it, then it's going to attract ants. Yeah, that's not right of what they did. Because if you bury it, then it's going to attract ants. So because if it's brought to the Loud House, the sisters will eat through it all. But if it's brought to the McBride house, Howard and Harold will lock the candy up and only bring in out one small piece at a time. And after burying it, which they weren't supposed to because it will attract ants, Lincoln and Clyde arrive back to Franklin Avenue. But to their horror, plastic pumpkins and candy wrappers litter the streets, and all of the trees and lampposts are coated with toilet paper, leaving the entire street completely desolated. And Lincoln and Clyde arrived to the Loud House and discovered a family taking down their corn maze, saying that nobody came after two big kids ran rampant and causing chaos and stealing everyone's candy. Realizing that the hooligans that caused this were the big kids they fooled earlier, and Lincoln and Clyde began to devise a plan on getting the candy back. Lincoln and Clyde find a trail of candy wrappers and manage to track Hank and Hawk to a treehouse in the middle of woods. And while they're trying to figure out how to get in, the bullies have been eating too much candy, and they pass out. Of course, because if you eat too much candy, you could end up getting sick. Seizing the opportunity, Lincoln and Clyde sneak in and tries to get the bag of candy back, but unfortunately, Hank and Hawk had caught them and they pummeled them. And after Hank and Hawk leave the boys in the dumpster, Lincoln and Clyde realize that they can get back at the bullies with blood because of how nauseous they got during their first encounter. Lincoln calls up Lucy and tells her to get the maze ready. Lincoln and Clyde don their British costumes and fill up a couple of bags with leaves to fake that they have bag loads of candy. The two pass by the bullies' treehouse and they attempt to lure them out by saying they've got lots of candy and milk chocolate. Hawk and Hank begin to chase them down and successfully tricking them into entering the maze at the Loud House. Once inside the maze, Luna begins to sing a song that goes along with the maze, as well as the remaining family members, terrifying the big kids up to the point where their screams catch the attention of the kids on Franklin Avenue. Upon arriving to the exit of the maze, Lucy dumps a bucket of fake blood onto Hank and Hawk, grossing them out and declaring that they've never coming back to Franklin Avenue ever again. Now happy with how the maze had scared the big kids, the other kids line up so that they can go through the maze. Realizing that nobody got candy, and Lincoln and Clyde decide to dig up their bags. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if it had ants after they buried it, because it does not make sense to me. I'm sorry. Yeah, they dug up their bags of full-size candy bars and proceeds to give them trick-or-treaters, saying that it's better to give than to receive. And when Lincoln and Clyde declare their Halloween a complete success by eating half of their last candy bar, Lynn Sire, who feels unconscious, wakes up and relieved that Halloween is finally over. But when Gio arrives, still plotting Mary Antoinette's severed head, Lynn Sire, scared out of its wits again, screaming that he hates Halloween one last time. And that's it. That's basically what the whole plot of it is all about. I will explain what I thought about it on the next video.